The year was 1982. School just let out. So me and my friends would hang out every day. We were young. I was about 12 years old. And I hung with these 3 other knuckleheads. Knuckleheads. That's what Mr. Witherspoon would call us. And he lived down the block. We lived in the Northside of Chicago.
That's what you are.
And my friends and I would hang out, play stickball, get ourselves in trouble, all that happy horse shit. But this summer was unlike any other summer. These days that were coming ahead of us, we'll never forget for the rest of our lives. It was just the 4 of us. Occasionally we had other friends that come by, but it was just the 4 of us. The oldest, his name was Curtis. He was 2 years older than us. And then my other friend Eddie. Eddie was the goofball. Always try to be Mr. Funny Pants, and somehow or another he was able to wiggle his ears. Never could figure out how he was able to do that, but funny nonetheless. And then we had Cecil, who was the same age as me. We'd go play softball, do whatever we could do, and yes, that includes getting into trouble. Anyway, we used to like to go around and go to force preserves. If you're familiar with Chicago, you would know, especially on the north side, there's Gompers Park was connected with LaBaugh Woods. And these woods would go on forever. We would sit and take some bikes and go bicycle riding down, because it had a bike path, do a short part of it. And then one day, Curtis, who was very, very courageous, but not so bright. He liked to walk on the razor's edge, put it that way. Always ready for a fight. Wanted to be in charge. So basically we just listened to him, and then we tell our dirty jokes. But he came over one day and telling us he watched this news clip about a family being murdered. And so we snuck out to Cecil's house. He had this TV in his little clubhouse his dad built for him. And we was watching these clips that Curtis's older brother gave us to watch on a VHS tape. And yes, I know the technology wasn't there like it is today, but there was nothing like having the good old times like the old days, let me tell you. But what was going to happen this summer, our future of 1982 will forever be embedded in our heads, and we will take that to our graves. We saw these, as they called on this news show, WGN, Channel 9, Chicago's very own, they had these things inside these trees, and they were calling these people druids. And I'm in total shock. We're all sitting there with our mouths open, can't believe what we are hearing and see out of our eyes. With these things, these metal things sticking in these trees where you can climb up the trees. Some of these trees hollowed out, and I didn't know this, but we've been going through there for years. Come to find out that many of people went missing, and it goes deeper. And I never forgot, or ever will forget, that day when Curtis was telling us about it. He said, "Have your stuff ready. We're gonna go in the morning." It was summertime. We had our freedom. Listening to some Van Halen, Metallica, all that good stuff. Had this little radio we'd carry along, Cecil, and strap it to our bikes. So we took off. It was a wonderful day. We got into the beginning of the woods, and he turned around and asked us one more time, "Don't wuss out," Curtis said. "We're gonna go in there and see if this stuff is real." Eddie was more calm, and you could tell in his eyes that he was like unsure of himself. Cecil just flat out didn't want to go. He was the chubbiest one of us all. We were all kind of slank and skinny and tall for our age. But Cecil, he was more of a pudgy, short kind of guy. And he kept telling us, "No, I don't want to go in there." And Curtis, well, you know, and all of us there, actually, not just Curtis, but Curtis, you know, got him in a headlock and kept giving him noogies, calling him a little sissy.
Come on.
We all got in and telling Cecil, "Come on, don't be a wuss. Any signs of trouble, we got our bikes, we can take off." So as we started going down, then we got to the end of what normal people would call for the Forest Preserve. Then over these train tracks is when you got deeper and farther away from the streets. And supposedly past the train tracks is where all this stuff's been happening for years, since the 1930s. So they say in police reports. So I didn't think nothing of it. We went through there. Then as we got off our bikes and started walking past this little river, little water flow, we came upon this. At first from a distance, it just looked like, somebody had a bonfire, and because a lot of people would go in there to party and do drugs, alcohol, and other fornications, if you know what I mean. But anyway, as we got closer, we started noticing something different. We came upon this altar. It had the pentagram, burnt candles, dried up blood, had some bones. Didn't know. And then Eddie said that he read upon this stuff. This is satanic, and we shouldn't be in here. And I went to go step forward to look at this bone. It looked like a femur bone. That's when I started getting nervous. And Cecil stepped on some branches or whatever, and out of the blue, we don't even know where this came from. We're in the middle of a forest, and we heard this bell ring. Cecil got loud, wanting to know what it was. I'm confused. I don't know what to think. I'm just a kid. Was someone watching us? And we start looking around. Then this mass, black mass, started forming, and it was like some greenish face figure. It wasn't human. It was basically like floating just above the ground. This black cloth had a green face, but it moved really weird. It was staring at us after that bell. We didn't know what it was. It just stood there staring at us. And then Cecil started to move back the way to get out. It started hissing. So we jumped on our bikes, hearts pumping. I have no idea what the hell's going on. Curtis is yelling, "Run. Just run. Go, go." Eddie's screaming. Just plain out bluntly screaming. So we get on our bikes. We're pedaling our asses off, trying to get back to the train tracks so we can get back over near the street. This thing started floating after us. Wouldn't come across the river. Stayed on the other side, but wanted to stay right with us, and it was hissing. We're on bikes, pedaling our asses off, and it's literally staying right with us. I thought I was going to die. So we got to the train tracks. You have to carry your bikes up the hill to get to the train tracks. We were all shaking. I was scared to death. And Curtis kept saying, "We have to come back here." Cecil said, if you do, I'm not coming this next time. And I kind of agreed with Cecil, but yet there's another part of me that wanted to see more. I don't know why, I couldn't explain it. Just wanted to see more. So when we got back in our neighborhood, we went in Curtis's backyard and we were talking about it. Curtis was pumped. It was almost like you could tell in his eyes he was scared, but he was trying to be what they would call macho, tough guy. But remember, some people, courage is good, but sometimes curiosity killed the cat, if you know what I mean. Cecil kept saying he didn't want to go. But
oh no! Oh no!
He went. Not the greatest of judgments of any of us, to tell you the truth. Stupid kids, stupid games, and stupid prizes. So the next day, we had to wait because Eddie's parents were making him do stuff with them, and he wasn't going to come back until about 6 o'clock. So we had to do other things. Then finally I met up with Curtis, and Cecil came in our little spot that we hung out in Jensen Park. And as we were talking about it, bring some of this, I put a crucifix around my neck, and here we are, thinking we're big shots, stupid kids. Couldn't believe what we saw. Curtis asked, "Did you tell your parents?" I tried to tell my mom, but she looked at me just like a typical parent would do. But then again, you can't blame her because I was a prankster. I like to pull jokes, and that old cry wolf story turns out to be kind of true. When you try to tell somebody serious stuff and they don't believe you, they think it's made up. But anyway, unbelievable. Then we start about, he had some book he got from a friend. So Eddie asked, "What friend, Curtis?" Curtis hung around some other people that were kind of weird. He tried to bring them along with us sometime, but they didn't really get along with us, and we didn't get along with them. They were just too plain out freaky, and they were just oddballs, like stuff that. Now, the four of us, one thing, we always had this love for horror movies, a creature feature that we were going to see, in that time, and fresh up Jason Voorhees and Mike Myers, and back when they didn't make everything a remake, and it was fun. So finally Ed came back and he met us at our little hangout at Jensen Park, and he said he had some holy water and a knife. And then I told him, what was that gonna do? If it's supernatural, that is not gonna hurt nobody but us. But anyway, something told me that day, this gut feeling, that I should have just turned around and went home. I don't know what possessed us to do this, but see, sometimes actions have consequences. So before I go any further, I shall tell you, if your gut tells you not to do it, then you shouldn't do it. Just because everybody thinks something's funny or they don't believe in the supernatural, it does exist. It's out there. And it's waiting for stupid people like we were that day. Now on to the story, which will sound unbelievable, but it's true. We headed back there. We got there. We're looking at the train tracks. And Curtis turned around. But this time, we didn't have no bikes either. We walked. It took us about an hour to get there. So Curtis was like, "Are you ready for this?" Cecil was saying no. Eddie was like, "Let's think about this for a minute and get a plan." I was just tagging along like mostly, but a lot of times I had more level-headed than the rest of them. Then I said, what we'll have to do is make sure we get an escape plan if these people try to trap us. Then Cecil brought up a good point. What if it's not people? What if it's something else? Then Curtis, of course, "I'll get out of here. There's no such thing." It was people. Then Eddie raised his voice with a little empowerment, saying, "How do you know? There's no way if that was a human dude would have kept up with us on our bikes." And this Curtis just told him to shut up and let's go. Don't be a wuss. Really, we should all listen to Cecil and Eddie and turned around, but we didn't. We was in for a journey of our lives. So we climbed up that hill and got to the railroad tracks. And then went on the other side. And this gloomy feeling is so odd too, because the sun was shining. It was a beautiful, beautiful evening. Summertime. Thank God that the sun stayed out a little longer. And this time we had no music. So we climbed down, and as we slowly walked through there, it's like again, the twigs breaking under our feet, birds chirping, as we started going deeper and deeper. Curtis kept saying to us that what happened to us before was planned. It had to be done by somebody, which that could be true. But then we came upon the altar again. And as we sat there and looked, we noticed more blood. A fresh candle that was still warm. And before you know it, we started walking and past it because we saw something about 30 steps away towards our left. So we walked over to it and looked. It looked like a black hoodie, ripped. And then 3 feet away from the hoodie, it was sitting on this bush, ripped. There was a lot of blood. There was a kid from our neighborhood named Ronnie. We haven't seen him in weeks, but the last time they told us that he went on vacation, he was there, Ronnie, with blood around his mouth. I never saw a dead human being in front of me. I didn't know how to take this. Cecil started freaking out, saying we gotta leave.
We can't be here, man.
Eddie was speechless. The only thing he could say was, "Oh my God."
We gotta get out of here.
Here's a guy we knew, not really a friend, but from our neighborhood, and he's dead. I wasn't on no vacation. Then we heard crackling behind us. We turned around. There was like 6 of these hooded black things. They had no feet. No feet. Eddie kept yelling, "They have no feet." One grabbed Curtis. I went to go hit him with the rock. It struck this thing on the side of his head. When it turned and looked at me, pure red blood-stained eyes, and it screamed this awful weird scream. Turned around, running. Cecil was
Oh no!
down the hill already, running and screaming help. Eddie went to go to the right of us, but he got caught by one too. I threw a rock at the other one. It literally went through his body. And it started chasing me. I tripped by this tree. For some reason or another, something wasn't letting it touch me. It was trying to grab me. I think it was the crucifix around my neck. Thank God I had this around my neck. All I could think was the fear and the heart pumping through my body, even my head throbbing. The Lord's Prayer. I couldn't remember crap from it before, but somehow or another, I just kept saying it. It was standing there, and the other one was choking Curtis. The other one had Eddie by his ankles, hanging him upside down and hitting him, doing something to his chest. They were saying these weird words. As we got out of there, I ran so hard. I met Cecil by this park bench. There was a parking lot with cars. People were looking at us like, what was the matter with us? You could tell the fear, especially in Cecil's face. Me, I know I was pale white. We called the police. They came, and when they got there, here come Curtis and Eddie. Something was different about them. You could tell. Cecil was grabbing me, telling me something's wrong. And I knew he was right. I knew it. It didn't make no sense whatsoever. So, next thing to do was we went home and tried to tell our parents. Curtis and Eddie didn't say nothing to us till the next day. The next day, he said that Curtis said that he just let go of him. He passed out and woke up a little bit later. Eddie had some marks on him. He had this big slash on his back. 3 claw marks.
Oh no!
We tried to tell my parents, and they were full of malarkey. That's what Curtis's dad would say. We know what happened. And then it happened. 2 days later, strange things started happening around my house. All 4 of us were experiencing paranormal. But the night before that day, which you all understand, I was laying in my bed, dark room, the only lights coming from outside, moon. Off in the distance, I heard this voice saying my name. I covered my head. I thought it was my brother teasing me. But every time I got up, I looked. There was no one there. My brother was dead asleep, snoring. So I still thought it was him. So I sat there for a while, see if my brother would get up, and he didn't. Then I went to go lay down back in bed again. It started again. I knew something was there. I knew we shouldn't have went to that. I knew it. And while I was going through this, the next day, I went to the dugout. Only Cecil came, telling me about how his mom saw the closet door close. Stuff happened, and his mom and dad took him, was going to take him to a church, and I asked Cecil what happened to Curtis and Eddie. The ironic thing of it all, they got up in the morning. Curtis came to the kitchen table, said a few words to his mom, and fell over dead. At the same time, at Eddie's house, Eddie was taking out the bag of garbage. They both died at 9:03 in the morning. As Eddie was taking out the garbage, he had a heart attack. They both laid there dead. A 13-year-old and a 14-year-old. Heart attack. And I know it was not a heart attack. I tried to explain it, but no one would listen. Me and Cecil still in shock. We still talk to each other. We're adults now, have children of our own, and still on occasion, no matter where we move, no matter what we do, we get this constant reminder that it's there, and it's waiting. Maybe it's because they didn't touch us, I don't know. But I know for a fact that we crossed the line. And if I can go back in time and change that, I would. Mr. Witherspoon knew a lot about that stuff, so we went to him. Come to find out, he had a nephew back in the mid-70s, that went in there with a girlfriend. Police were called. Helicopter infrared said they saw black figures moving, but the police on the ground didn't see nothing. But they found Mr. Witherspoon's nephew's girlfriend gutted, tied to a tree. And Mr. Witherspoon's nephew was beheaded. And he always wore this baseball cap. And they found the baseball cap by this hollowed out tree with these step things on them, nailed to the tree. So don't go snooping where it doesn't belong. Remember that.